Hey, this is Tony Anthony out of Canada, and I definitely endorse SPRB Radio Podcast with 10-Star General and Sharon Manga. Yeah, man, I definitely endorse SPRB Radio Podcast with a 10-Star General and Sharon Manga. Check them out, all right? Cool.
Yes, bless. It is thy turbulence to the future from the Tread Almighty camp. And I fully endorse SPRB Radio Podcast with 10-Star General. I will talk about Sharon Mango. Check it out. Trust you won't be disappointed. I could have been one of the most notorious ladies. I'm still loving you, even though you're gone. Interesting.
Hi, this is your girl Winnie.
And this is your girl Freddie.
From out of London.
And we fully endorse
SPRB Radio Podcast with 10-Star General
and Sharon Mango. Check them out.
Yeah, it's your girl Kerry Lopez. I'm so right about now. I'm representing for SPRB Radio Podcast. Not no normal about that. So I'm a 10-Star General. Big up yourself. And the beautiful host herself, Sharon Mango, Kerry Lopez in Jamaica, are representing for the podcast show there. I'm going to tell the people, check it out. Not no normal about the settings for me. I send you there, you know what time it is. They come see me. Yeah, I tell you, say whenever I wanna mix business with pleasure. Yeah, man. I wait there. Check out the podcast now, man. 10-Star, tell them the man.
This is Yami Bolo from out of Jamaica, and I fully endorse SPRB Radio Podcast with 10-Star General and Sharon Mango. Check it out. You won't be disappointed. Bless the love. Yami Bolo said that.
Nice.
Bang! Never soul from a tribe of Shaka Ethiopia, Africa, when I laugh, when I linger, when I play, no time you say it. Original Raising Awareness show, we are talking about 10-Star General, Yaman Sharon Mango. Bang, bang, turbulence to the future. What do you mean what I King Selassie? Rastafari, keep it accurate and royal.
This is The Buzz, your music news update for the latest on your favorite artists and more. Sponsored by JojoMacMusic.com.
Hello everyone, I am Pistol and this is The Buzz. When I see a show with 24 men, I don't call it a show. I call it a balls fest, straight up. That's the assessment of legendary dancehall cultural DJ Sister Carol as it relates to the disparity in the ratio of male to female artists on stage at many major reggae dancehall shows and festivals. Sister Carol believes there is still a wide open space for young cultural female DJs to make their mark, and they should be nurtured and given opportunities like their male counterparts, while pointing out Jamaican music's remarkable influence on the world, noted in her lamentations that based on what she has seen internationally, women are in demand, and promoters in Jamaica, the birthplace of reggae, need to step up to the plate. As far as Sister Carol is concerned, the globe is fertile ground with huge opportunities for female reggae musicians, artists, promoters, and all other functionaries in reggae and dancehall music. Retired cricketer turned recording artist Chris Gale is celebrating success in India after the track O Fatima, on which he's featured, reached millions of ears in just a week. The video has reached over 4 million views on YouTube in its first week, and we went on some really big platforms to promote it. We went on the Kapil Sharma TV show in Mumbai, India, which reaches 45 million people in India on Sony TV. Gale told reporters, O Fatima stars Indian singer Arko. It was produced by Nishant Dayal, while Ramji Gulati directed the official music video, which premiered on May 22nd. Meanwhile, Gale said that the Jamaican brand has helped tremendously in promoting his work in the East. Music producer Fitzroy Francis is elated with his newly released album, Songs of Euphony, by Nigerian recording artist Freddie Green. The project was produced under Francis's Multiple 13 Records alongside VPAL Music and was released on May 19th. The album has 12 vocal tracks and 1 instrumental, which explores topics such as international affairs, spirituality, and love for the human community. Francis explained, quote, "The album is an Afrocentric electric reggae Afrobeat album combining the lyrics and musicianship of Jamaica, Nigeria, and Costa Rica. He went on to say, I hope that this album can inspire millions of people who are aligned with values and appreciate positive music. Two artists are featured on the album, Roger Ruiz from Costa Rica on Rise Up, and Aladdin from Nigeria, who is featured on the tracks It Will Always Be You and Living Below the Breadline. Due to several contributing factors, the album was completed over the course of 4 years. The lead single, Top of the Pop, was pre-released in April. Plans are being put in place for further promotions of this album, as well as other material which are already in the works. The producer elaborated, quote, at the moment we are thinking about releasing another single from the album, writing lyrics and creating some new rhythms for upcoming projects. Dancehall producer Omar Miller, better known as Miller 9, will soon face trial for a 2019 home invasion, robbery, and murder in Irvine, California. Miller 9, a former Jamaican cop who was freed of a murder charge on the island over a decade ago, and two other men are set for a pre-trial hearing on June 9, 2023, before the commencement of their jury trial on October 6, 2023, according to California court records. The producer of Lauderdale, Florida, and fellow Jamaican Andre Andrews of Miramar, Florida, are both charged with special circumstances of murder committed during the commission of a robbery, murder committed during the commission of a burglary, and 3 felony enhancements for personal use of a firearm and inflicting great bodily injury. The two have been in custody since January 2020, when they were arrested in Florida and extradited to California. Tifa is spelling out more performances and new music when one of the BADDEST female DJs stepped out on the stage of Strictly 2K recently. The patrons of Mass Camp erupted in song and cheers. This was Tifa's first performance in years on a Jamaican stage, and she was excited by the positive interaction she received from fans. She said, quote, the performance was nothing short of awesome. It was a joy to be performing for my people. It's been years since I've performed in Kingston. I was so happy and even more elated that the fans loved it.
I am Pistol, and that, my friends, was The Buzz. That was The Buzz, your music news update for the latest on your favorite artists and more. Sponsored by JojoMacMusic.com.
Now here's the song from our sponsor, Jojo Mac.
When you see me with your ex, always check if he's on the internet. Girl, you are like a bounce check on every man's list of reject. You need to take a recess, time to regroup and reset. You don't want to no longer feel you. Stop stalking us, we can see you. With you we didn't have it good, no. With me got the good, yeah. With you we didn't have it good, no. With me, got the good. You can change his mind. You are not his kind. You're from another time when he had lost his mind. You're like a kid, you need a blanket and a bottle. But my man, he needs a woman full throttle. If a woman can please her love, it's only right he gets enough. Looks like you didn't get that text that you are now an ex. Hey, you don't want to no longer feel you. Stop stalking us, we can see you. With you we didn't have it good, no. With me got the good, yeah. With you we didn't have it good, no. With me got the good. You can change his mind. You are not his kind. You're from another time when he had lost his mind. Playing a crazy game. Than you sing, juggling balls like a baller. They know you on every corner. Hey, outrageous, contagious. You got many men. Good gracious, you're graceless. That's why I'm now with him. You don't want to no longer feel you. Stop stalking us, we can see you. With you we didn't have it good, no. With me got the good, yeah. With you we didn't have it good, no. With me got the good. You can change his mind. You are not his kind. can see you. With you, we didn't have it good. No, with me, got the good, yeah. With you, we didn't have it good. No, with me, got the good, yeah. Outrageous, contagious. You got many men. Outrageous, contagious. That's why you're not with him. Yeah. That's right. What?
Greetings, SPRB friends and family. I'm Nana Genesis, and I fully endorse 10-Star General and Sharon Mango.
Each day from my window, I watch him as he passes by. And I say to myself, I'm so lucky he's my guy.
Janet Lee Davis.
To have a man like him.
You know, see, I'm beer man, them a juggle pan the rhythm. How I do man, them tight pan the rhythm. Sit down in a circle and a climb pan the rhythm, but we still not get no love. Yo, this is your girl Sugar representing, raising their awareness. And you don't know.
Each day from my window, I watch him as he passes by.
Listen to it.
Woo! And I say to myself, I'm so lucky he's my guy. To have a man like him, it's truly a dream come true.
Yeah, man.
Out of all the girls in the world, he belongs to you. But it was just my imagination. Woo! Running away with me. It was just my imagination. Running away with me.
One more verse.
Every night on my knees I pray. Dear Lord, hear my plea. Don't ever let another take his love from me, or I will surely die. His love is heavenly. When your arms enfold me, I hear a tender rhapsody. But in reality, he doesn't even know me.
Gonna play one more. This is Harmony. You can hear me, right?
Yeah.
I've never met a girl so genuine and true. And that's the reason I spend all my time with you. Especially when we're laughing, me and you. Your pretty eyes and smile just keep this love in you. find myself thinking of you. I tried my best to keep romancing you. That's why I can't stop making love to you. That's why I must confess, girl, you're my try. I know the times are hard, but still we carry on. So let's stay positive and keep this love strong. As long as you are holding me, girl, I'll sing this song. Baby, there's no stopping us. Thank God you are the one. That's why I find myself thinking of you. I tried.
Greetings, one and all. This is Lloyd Brown giving full endorsement to Stuck in Emotion, Riot Blend Radio. The station with integrity, the station with a difference. Remember me tell you, Lloyd Brown says so. Full endorsement. Stuck in Emotion, Riot Blend Radio. We now stop till we drop. Saying, bless.
So once again, we are back here. What's today? The 4th of July? 4th of June, sorry. 4th of June. And here we are doing the part 2 of our show. We are talking to the musical maestro himself, the legend, the living icon. We are here to give him his flowers in real time. We're not waiting for him to pass away before we say nice things about him when he can't hear it. Or, you know, he's floating in the sky and say, I wish they would have told us when I was down there. You know what I mean? We're telling you right now to your face. If you don't like it, bite it.
I'm going to give you your 10 after we finish, yeah? I'll give you an extra £5, £15 after all of this. Oh, wow.
Fish and chips.
Yeah. Fish and chips and a nice drink to go with it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sharon, go for it.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good afternoon for some.
Excuse me. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, and good night to everyone who's listening, wherever you are.
Absolutely. Wherever
Peace
we are.
Peace and love to all of you. Peace and love to all of you, to everyone.
Yeah. So happy for part 2. I was texting him last night, like, can't wait, bubblers. Looking forward to talking to you, bubblers, today. Don't forget us, because we know you're busy.
No, I'm never forget you. I make sure I have a little drink and everything down, settle myself before I get myself ready, you know? No rush today.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. Well, we're going to go into our part 2. We have, goodness, there's just so much to unpack. I'm trying to remember where we left off, you know. But
well, the is we spoke about his early life. Now we can get into the gritty of his work. You know what he did. You know, in the industry.
Yeah.
And
well, first of all, it's true.
I mean, it's like a treasure chest. You know, you're reading his Bible, and you're rubbing your hands, and it's like, Jesus, you've achieved so much in your lifetime already that some people wish they could do just a quarter of what you've done. You know what I mean?
This is true.
Yeah, well, you know, it's like in my moments now, because true illness has caused me to slow down, and it gives me time to think. And I said, you know what? I've really done a lot of things. I really didn't look at it like that. I was just working. Yeah. While I was in it, in the peak of what I was doing, you're just working. You're not thinking about how much people you're working with and what you're doing. You're just working. But when I look back, it's a lot. I was talking with my guitarist Tony Phillips from Rough Cut Band, and we're talking together. And he goes, "Bubblers, we've done a lot. You know, there's a lot of things we've done. I think we're actually in not the Guinness Book of Records, but there's some book of records where we backed up the most artists, Jamaican artists, even more than Jamaican bands. We've got like 300 or 350 artists to our credit, what we've worked with over the years. Wow. And no Jamaicans or bands ever done that.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
That's Rough Cut Band, that is. Rough Cut Band, yeah.
Rough Cut. You know there's a Rough Cut in Jamaica, right?
Yeah. I'll tell you a quick story about that. When Shabba first came here, He had a pickup band. It's me, a drummer. I can't remember who the bass player was or the guitarist was, but it was a pickup drum. You just pick up musicians, and we done some shows with him. The first show we done was down at Wembley Town Hall. It's a school now, I think it is, but it's right across the way Chocolate used to be there. So we did a show there, and we did some set of shows with him, and his manager at the time was a guy called Specialist. Everybody knows this name's synonymous in Jamaica. Everybody knows Specialist in Jamaica.
Yeah,
and especially was so impressed. He got I got my own band, man. You know, my own band is called Rough Cut Band. He go, yeah, and so him come and see me perform a couple of times before he went back, and he go, boy, me like that name there, you know, me like that name there. That's all he kept on saying to me. Then he went back to Jamaica, and then they had, I think it's the Paul. I can't remember his name, Paul something. He was the bass player with, I think, Firehouse Crew in Jamaica.
Is that Paul Crossdale by any chance? No.
I know it's Paul Crossdale. Paul, but he was the bass player for Bloodfire Posse, I think it is. Okay. I can't remember his surname. But anyway, they formed the band and for Shabba in Jamaica now, because he went back to Jamaica and formed the band specifically for Shabba. And he took the name Rough Cut. But they spelled it differently. Unbeknown to us, all this Rough Cut in Jamaica. Well, who's this band in Jamaica? We're Rough Cut. And then we hear about it, them spell it different. They spell it with a K. Then they changed it to Rough Cut Crew because it's getting confusing.
That's
People
right.
going, well, all these two, there's a Rough Cut band in Jamaica. And I go, no, we are the original Rough Cut. This is why in the later years we put that's our name, Rough Cut UK.
Yeah.
To make the distinction because he used the name and they spelled it with a K, and they spelled it Rough Cut Crew and all sort of derivatives of the name. But we look at me, we are the original Rough Cut.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this to belittle anybody, but anybody with a Rough Cut name after that is imposter. They're going to cut the name after.
Right.
I'm going to boldly say that.
Right. And I'm glad you've spoken about, the origins of how Rough Cut came to be, you know what I mean? Because I've always known that back in the day, when you guys came about as Rough Cut, and, with the original crew, the original band members, I knew Tony Phillips was always part of, because I used to go down there, because he used to mix a lot of my productions at Rough Cut down in the, and then there came another Rough Cut. So I'm like, okay, so Rough Cut is really going places. And I thought you had gone to Jamaica and you're doing the stint over there. Only to realize that there was another band. And then, like you rightly mentioned, they spelt it with a K.
Yes.
That distinction. I go, wow, okay.
Like I explained to you the story because the Specialist went to Jamaica and formed the Rough Cut band over there after watching our band perform. He said he just liked that name. That's all he used to say to me. Why me like that name, the Rough Cut, me like that name. And he went to Jamaica and formed his own Rough Cut. When people are thinking that the band in Jamaica now is the original Rough Cut. Like, no.
Right.
So anybody listening to Jamaica or anything like that, this is where the original Rough Cut come from, England. Dirty stinking all England come from. That's where it comes from.
Dirty stinking England.
Yes, that's the original Rough Cut band. And if you talk to any of the veteran artists, those who are still alive, who's not alive now is your Gregory's, your John Holtz, your Uri. All of them will tell you we had that name before there was ever Rough Cut in Jamaica. Because they came here to us performing when we performed shows with them as the Rough Cut band. First was Undivided Roots, but like I said, when Donald left the band, we changed. We used the name Rough Cut as a backing band in its entirety. And those artists, we've been working for them from them time, from Martha Griffiths to Beres Hammond, all of them. They all can tell you that we had that name before they had formed the name Rough, before they had a Jamaican Rough Cut band.
And what I loved about the Rough Cut band, you could close your eyes and you would swear blind that band came out of Jamaica, live and direct out of Jamaica, but it was out to UK.
Yeah, well, like I said in part one, we all had a desire to replicate the tunes as close as possible. Most bands play generically. There's a piano, there's an organ, and there's a guitar. That's it. But we're trying to listen to the tune and replicate it as much as we can, down to where what pickups the guitar was using on that tune to give it that sound, or what organ sound was on that tune, and we go into that detail.
Right.
So anytime we play, that's why when the Jamaican artists come here, they were always happy with us because we sound like the record. It's like they're playing the record and they're singing to record.
Right.
And we all had that. All the musicians, the nucleus people in Rough Cut, that's what our drive was, to replicate the song as close as possible. We weren't playing generically. Because a lot of bands I find here, they play generically. Yeah, there's an organ, there's a piano, there's a drum, and there's a bass. But we try to replicate the vibe of the actual tune. When we play with Gregory, he had a smile in his face when we used to play. Because we were playing all those tunes, the Night Nurses, the Soon Forward, all of and when we're playing it, we're giving him all the sounds like on the record, like, and he has a big smile in his face. Big smile in his face when we play with Gregory, because, you know, he used to endorse us.
Yeah. I can just imagine him singing to Night Nurse right now, and you guys.
Yeah, man. With Gregory, he used to have this style called we call it FM. That means when we're playing, we just playing from one tune to the next, no stopping, no talking. We're just rolling out of one tune, rolling to the next tune, rolling to the next tune, and he's just singing. So, and he calls it FM style. Like you're listening to the radio and the tune's going from one tune to another. So we're going from Soon Forward straight into Night Nurse, straight into whatever the tunes are, straight, no talking.
Right.
It's just straight one to the other, and the changes of the sounds are happening at the same time.
Right.
So you can hear number one tuning number one. You can we used to find joy out of that. You can rapidly replicate that we're listening to tunes that we grew up on.
Right.
So it was a joy for us to replicate it. You know, so and that's what made it, I think, the distinction about when we work with the Jamaicans and people in general. They go, boy, you lot sound like record, you lot sound Jamaican, man.
For real.
But we're all geared to that way. And I'll tell you, the main components of that was like, in the early days, it was me and Donald and Tony in a sense. But me and Donald, before we met Tony, me and Don Campbell, that is, we used to be studying those things like, you know, rhythm sections from Channel 1, and we used to study that. It was like, boy, we want to sound like that. We don't want to sound like the regular things that was happening here. We want to sound like that. That's what we felt. So we brought that into the band when we joined forces into the band, and we brought that in, and we kind of incorporated that with everybody, and everybody sort of was on the same path. So we find that we all want to do that, the same thing. So that's why we, in long words or short words, that's why we sounded that kind of Jamaican way, because we all were geared to that.
Yeah.
And what was the rehearsal regime like? How many hours would you spend in a week?
I'll tell you the truth, and this is no lie. We didn't rehearse religiously like that. We would come together, if there's a show or there's a little tour, that's when we come together. And we might come together a day or two before, and we'd run through the tunes. We might get a cassette or a list from the promoter. These are the tunes what Gregory wants to do. These are the tunes what John Holt wants to do. And we go, okay, and we listen to them. And we get a cassette, and who's got the records? Sometimes you didn't have YouTube them time there. So you have to go and get the records and take them off. bring the tape to rehearsal. And then we'd run through them by ourselves, and that's that sound. Yeah, okay, cool. And by the time the artists come now, we kind of familiar with what is what. So we didn't have a religious every week, 2 times a week, 3 times a week to rehearsal. We just rehearsed, or when we were working so much anyway. It's like we were doing so much shows. We were constantly rehearsing, and we were constantly busy. We were always having a show if there's 52 days, 52 weekends in 52 weeks in the year, and we'd be working at least 40 of those weeks in the year.
Right.
Because that's how often we were working. We were working often, like every weekend, almost every weekend we'd have 1 or 2 shows to do.
Right.
So that in itself was like practice.
I'm with you.
So we didn't really go into rehearsal to practice that's to play rhythm. We're working.
Right.
So you know.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that with us. I want to say bless up to everyone who's just joining us. We have Siddy here, we have Rankin, we have DJ Maestro, Sharon Bentley. God bless everyone for being there. We are talking to the legendary icon Bubblers.
Heal up our listeners, you know.
Yeah, man. He's the cream of the crop, the creme de la creme of our industry.
Creme de la creme, monsieur.
Yeah, and you know, you can't say creme without saying the cra. Yeah,
yeah.
Is in it. Now, we're going to get into a lot of your work. So between Sharon and I, we're going to delve into it. Right now, you've done quite a bit, and I'm hoping we'll be able to squeeze everything, you know, in the show today. Tell me about your association with, first and foremost, Aswad and the role you played with Aswad.
Yes.
Okay. Right. In the early days, like Brinsley Ford used to live just up the road from me. Literally, I didn't know he was living there, but he was living just at the end of my road, and he was there with his family, and they used to come and see us playing. You know, he has Aswad, the big Aswad and Steel Pulse, and we were just a little band coming up. So he must come and watch me come and play. Like, well, there might be at a certain show, we might be there, and we'd be doing backing work, and he'd be watching us playing, and he goes, "Yeah, they sound all right, you know." You know, you give a little props and things like that. So he discovered that I'm around the corner from him. So he came to me one day. He goes, "Hey, you know, the keyboard player, which was bigger at the time, was Bigger was working with King Sounds and the Israelites. You remember King Sounds and the Israelites?
Oh yeah.
So Bigger was he was more committed. He's a more essential player with King Sound and the Israelites. He's an essential player with Aswad. But he was kind of torn between the two somewhat. So there's certain gigs where Bigger couldn't make with Aswad. So they called me. So we would like you to fill in for Bigger when he's not there.
Right.
So I'd fill in. And you know, it's like coming there and working with Aswad was, wow, it was an eye-opener for me. It's like, I'm more traditional reggae band kind of vibe, you know, playing the regular things. But they're more of a creative, experimental band. And you know, and it's like it's a new opening for me. So I said, "Wow, okay." And then give me stuff with different chords. I make my fingers nut up while on the keyboard. I said, "Wow, that chord, that was an odd chord." He goes, "Yeah, but that's the chord we want to hear." I go, "All right, okay."
Right.
And then so it's a new experience working with them. But it was good. I really enjoyed it because when you're on stage with them, like drummer used to go to this dub spasm where you go dub, we go swat. And it's pure double chord and drum and bass, and then he's just taking you somewhere you don't know where you're gonna go. You don't know where you don't know how you're gonna end up. You don't know how the band's gonna finish, but he's just taking you there, and you're just following him.
Right.
But it worked every night, and every night was a different vibe.
Right.
To me, that was new. That was like, wow, how did he do that? And like we have rehearsals, and you know we rehearse intensely before we go on the road. But once you got rehearsals, that's it. So you got the foundation in the rehearsals and that. But in the midst of the dub and that, it's gonna get experimental. You don't know where it's gonna go.
Right.
So you're just following it, and you're adding to it. You're adding to whatever the concoction's been added, and it's really
everything
really
spontaneous, right?
Yeah.
Spontaneous.
Yes, that's the word. Spontaneous. But it's brilliant for me. So. One at a time now, what we did, I toured Europe at the time. I was touring Europe, but I've never been outside of Europe. So I'll tell you this story. Brinsley always laughs when he tells me this story. We always laugh about it. Brinsley, I was about 17 at the time. Brinsley goes to me, "Boy, Bubblers, we got a gig in Israel, you know." I go, "Israel? Wow, I've never been there." He goes, "Yeah, but you know, you're 17, you know, and I never gonna come to talk to your father." He knew my mum passed away and something like that. He knew I was living with my dad. So he goes, "I need to come and talk to your dad, you know." I go, "Okay, sure." So he come down. And he explained to my dad, he goes, "Yeah, you know, your songs are very young talent and we'd like him to play with us and we'd like to take him to Israel with us." And so we got some like, we get your blessing or your permission. Because we know he's of age.
That's respect.
And so my dad agreed. Because my dad seen I was trying, you know, what I was doing, so he agreed. But Brinsley always rubs that in my face sometimes, going, well, remember, hey, when you're a little boy, you know, me taking you out of the yard, you know. And me taking you out of Israel, you know, and things like that. So we always have a joke about that. But I used to do the reverse of them. I used to go, hey, Brinsley, I remember using double deckers, you know, and all you used to say is, where's Donut? And then you hear, see you next week. And it's all done. Every week is, where's Donut? And then you hear, see you next week. And the whole band used to be cracking up when I said that to him. I said, you made your career of see you next week, you know. Because that's what he used to say. He used to have expression. He used to have special expressions. And then he's going, where's Donut? and you see them run up and down, and your music goes, see you next week. That's what he's. So I used to have a joke with him with that. So he joked with me where he brought me out of the country the first time, and I joked with him and said, you only had one line in double deckers. But working with Aswad was a great experience. It opened my eye up to musically. It opened my eye up because I had never worked with a band like that before. Which you're experimenting on stage and and when you finish, you don't know where you're gonna end. That's why I want people to understand that you don't know where you're going to end up. You don't know what chord you're going to finish it with, but you just finish. And tomorrow you'll play a double thing like that with the same tune, and you end up somewhere else. I used to find that amazing. And drum used to always have a way to conduct the band to do that. Wherever he was brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant.
Right.
You know? Wow. But we had a long, lustrous career. But over 25 years, I was working with them. I was playing drums with them.
Yeah.
And playing keyboards. And when Tommy Potts was singing the lead, I'd be playing keyboard bass behind him. But yeah, but that came around, I'll tell you with that as well. With the drums, how I came to play drums now.
Right.
They had a hit with the Don't Turn Around. So drumming is kind of going, well, I can't be singing this hit tune behind the drums. I can't. I need to be out front. Everybody agreed on that, management, everybody. So they said, well, they knew I played drums a little bit. So he goes, do you mind filling in for drums until we find a drummer? And to do that role, just fill in for drums for now until we find a drummer. I said, yeah, sure. So I'm filling in. And after about 2 or 3 rehearsals, he goes, boy, Bubblers, I must say, I don't think we need a drummer. You're good enough, man. You're good enough. Go, me? Aswad? The mighty Aswad, I'll play a drum? He goes, yeah, man, I like the way you're doing it. You're doing it fine. You're doing your backing vocals. You're doing everything, Chris. I don't think we need a drummer.
Right.
That's why I ended up playing drums with Aswad. They're so happy with it in rehearsals. When we did a show, they were double happy. Like, they say, yeah, man, we don't need a drummer. We don't need a drummer. You just play drums. Anytime I go up the front, go sing, you come off the drum. That time there are 2 keyboard players. There's a keyboard player called Michael Martin. Michael Martin used to play with Spice Girls and all those sort of people like that. Eventually after Aswad, but all in that band, there's a lot of how can I say? All of us were heavy hitters.
Right.
We didn't know it at the time. We were young musicians. We were young ninja musicians. But you had Michael Martin who played with Spice Girls. You have Stanley Andrew who knows, and Stanley Andrew plays with a lot of people. He's a guitarist. He plays now with Billy Ocean at the moment.
Okay.
You had me. I count me and myself in there. You had a trombone guy called Winston Rollins who plays with Jamiroquai.
No.
But all these people we played with after we played with Aswad. We didn't know we were going to go to that. But we were young musicians. We had a good music. Aswad at the time had a good crop of musicians at the time. They didn't know it. I think they knew it, but we didn't know that we'd elevate to such high positions. That's what we did over time.
Right. So were you aware of some Brimstone members? Because I know some guys from a band called Brimstone ended up at Aswad as well.
No, that was probably before me.
Okay, because I know that was during the 70s.
No, I wasn't there then. I was in the Aswad in the, I'd say 83, 84.
Now, would
that's
that
when I was in Aswad. But yeah, about 83, 84, I joined Aswad.
83, 84.
Yeah.
Yeah.
83, 84. Okay, so the Rise and Shine album wouldn't have been released at that time.
No, Rise and Shine was 1990. I think 1990. I think 91. No, I think Rise and Shine.
Tell me about that.
Rise and Shine was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna push my nose out a bit here, right? I was doing all these productions. I was working with Maxi Priest. I was doing all these things. I had a little hit restaurant under my belt, and I'm working with Aswad. And they would never take me into the studio. I never asked them. They just bypassed me. I said, cool, no problem. And one day they were doing this new album when they were working Rise and Shine. They went. They went to Jamaica. They took me to Jamaica with them. Yeah. And I played a couple of tracks of what they were working on, but they never used it. But then they said to me, "But Bubblers, you know, we got to do some production with you. Well, how come you're working with it?" I said, I'm here. I'm right here. I'm right here in front of your face." So they go to me and say, "Yeah, we got a couple of tunes we wanted to work on. What we'd like you to co-produce with us." So that's how we started to do that. I produced on that Rise and Shine album was the same Shine, Rise and Shine, the Shine tune. And a tune called Rhythm of Life on the album. Okay. But that's how we started to work, because for years I've been working with them, and they see my productions all over the place, but they never asked me. I never asked them. I said, yeah, well, because at that time it was Drummy, I think Drummy and brings them Mikey Campbell. I think their producer and manager at the time, Mikey Campbell, was in control of all of it. But I think they broke away from Mikey Campbell then. Then they start to work with Les Payne, I think Les Payne to this day is still working with them now. Okay. Les Payne is the one who took them into the more commercial, which really got the hit with the Don't Turn Around. Yeah. So they approached me, goes, yeah, well, boy, you know, we see all the production squad, you know, don't work with me. I said, well, you never asked me. It's not me to ask me, it's you to ask me. Right. I don't know what you're doing. So they go, yeah, sure, come, let's do something. So that's how we ended up doing that. And there was slight. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna push my nose out again. There was slight underhanded treatment with certain things, which made me kind of have a real bad attitude to them after a while. But over the years, that kind of dwelled and mellowed a bit. But yeah, they didn't treat me fairly, put it that way, on those productions. Because I'll say it straight. On the Shine tune, we had what they call it, point system, which is like most producers, they share that the 3 points is the main points what they usually give to producers. So they said, well, it's me and them producing it, so I'm going to take half and they take half. I'm going to have 1.5 points. They have 1.5 points. And everything was going fine. They agreed to it. Everything was going good. Then by the time I said, well, make sure you send me the paperwork to sign. That paperwork never came through until about 9 months after the tune release. That's how the tune was big and telling they got, I think, Beatmasters to remix it. I think or something like that. And the horns, and that wasn't on the original one. So they're talking about, well, they have to pay Beatmasters. I go, I don't have nothing to do with that. Me and you had an agreement. I have 1.5 points. You have 1.5 points. When you want to share your 1.5 points, this is your business. But and everybody will tell you that that's normal business. That, you know, I'm not being greedy. We agreed to that in the beginning. But they locked me out. I'm not talking this to make people know this. These are something that uncomfortable things you go through in the business. They locked me out and they said to me, listen, if you want 1.5 points, we're not giving it to that. We're going to give you half of that. We're going to give you 3/4 points. I go, why are you doing that? This is that they changed management and a new management, a guy called John Arneson. And John Arneson looked at me, this is a white guy, he looked at me in the face, he goes, if you don't take this 3/4 a point, we'll just say that we recorded the tune and you don't get nothing.
Wow.
I said, you'll do that to me, John. I've been with these guys, that time it was about 15 years. I said, I've been with these guys over 15 years. Who are you to come in and say that? He goes, yeah, try me.
And where they backs.
And them time there, Drummy and Tony, Drummy, Brinsley and Tony, I was talking to them. We were all talking. We were pally. And at that point, they weren't talking to me. I phoned them. They weren't talking to me. I said, it's going to be like that. So I went to my musicians union. I said, what can we do? And they looked at it and go, you ain't got a leg to stand on. You got no paperwork. You got no nothing. and they can actually say that you had nothing to do with it.
I saw them treat you.
Yes, listen to me. I'm making people hear this. These are unsavory parts of the business that us don't talk about, but I'm not holding it back. I'm talking my story and ask them to verify it if I'm lying. Make them stand up in front of you and talk to me if they're not. They said to me, boy, they got to share their bit with us. I said, that's your business. When I done this, there was no remix. I done my part of the tune. I done my part of the production, and I just want to claim my 1.5 points. They didn't speak to me after that. They got John Anderson to talk to me, and John Anderson said, you're going to get 3/4 of pay, not 1.5. That means half what you're supposed to get. And he goes, well, if you push me any further, we'll just say you didn't record anything on it, and you don't get nothing.
Well, that's cool.
And I went to my lawyers, and they said to me, you can fight this you can fight the case, but you might end up spending the money in legal fees.
It sounds like somebody else is pressing their buttons, though.
Well, I don't know what's happening, but what I'm saying is that at that point, these 3 guys I used to talk to, we were friends. We eat out of each other's pockets. And at that point, they weren't talking to me. No matter how much I tried to talk to them, phone them on the phone, or anything like that, they weren't talking to me. They said, just talk to John. All I got was talk to John Anderson.
So let me ask you a question. So if I met somebody who has similar talent as you, and he wants to go and do the same thing that you did, how would you advise him in real time?
I'd advise them, firstly, if they're going to do a production, and especially if a record company is involved, make sure you get the paperwork first. Make sure, when I mean the paperwork, that means your contract, what you're contracted to do. That means that either if you got a track and it's your track, then that means in simple layman's terms, you're gonna license the track to them. If they want you to produce the track for you, they're gonna pay you as a producer to produce the track for them. That you need to get that paperwork in writing first, signed, and whatever money is passed on before you start work.
Thank you.
Because I went through this just not too long ago with Maxi Priest. I'm talking my story now.
Yeah.
I'm talking my story. There's an album right now, Maxi Priest. This album was up for Grammy nomination 2019. The album is called It All Comes Back to Love.
I know.
That's the title track of the album, is my tune. Not I didn't do it for the record company. It's my tune that Maxi sung for me. And what it is, I sang it to me, and Maxi asked me, and goes, boy, Bubblers, so when are you going to put that tune out? Because Maxi had a habit of calling you and saying, boy, give me some tune, Bubblers. And I at this time I said, no, I'm not giving you no tunes, Maxi, because when I give you tunes, they just end up on your floor. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
You commission me and pay me to do something. He goes, no, Bubblers, just Bubblers, just send me some tunes, man. I'm working on something. So I gave him, and I sent him some tunes, and that was one of the tunes I gave him. And he said, I like this tune, Bubblers. I'm going to write something to my with my writing partners. He got some guys that he writes with, a guy called Livingston, he writes with, his writing partner. So they went away and wrote the song, and they sent me back the files of the vocal.
Right.
I said, yeah, this sounds good, you know, Max. He goes, yeah. He goes, yeah. So I go, well, mix it and send it back to me. So I mix it, sent it to him. He goes, yeah, Bob, this sounds ready. It sounds good. It sounds really good. I go, yeah. So he goes, ask me, so when you put it out, I go, you know what? I built this tune. This tune, what I gave him, I built it for Barris in mind, Barris Hammond. But Barris is a long thing to get to Barris. Unless you're in front of Barris's face, it's a long thing.
You're right.
So unless you're in Jamaica, like I used to tell you, is in Jamaica the other day, he got that tune, the tune was out now. Yeah. You have to be in Barris's presence. It's hard to send him things. And you'll work on it. But anyhow, so he goes, what's a long thing in the Bubblers? He goes, anyway, so you just put it out. I go, it'll be another couple months to make me try and get through to Barris. If not, I'll put it out. Then he phones me about a month later, and he goes, Bubblers, I'm working on an album with Shaggy, you know. That's Shaggy's just come off an album which he was got a Grammy for with Sting the year before.
Yeah,
the year before he just got a Grammy for Sting. So the floodlights are on Shaggy right now, and people are watching. So he's producing this album for Maxi, So he goes, Bubblers, I'm doing an album with Shaggy at the moment, and I want to use your track on the album. I go, really? Okay. All right, well, yeah, okay, cool. He goes, I'm going to make Shaggy phone you. Shaggy phones me. We talk for about 2-3 hours. Shaggy telling me about his woes and what he's been through, and when he mash up with him and Robert Livingston, and you know, because they were together for a long time, the management, but they all fall apart and everything like that. And he decided to leave them, and he gave me his whole story. So he goes, Bubblers, there's no money passing on at the moment, but here, I'll make sure you look after and everything like that. So and the track is yours. You'll be licensed to us. So everything's on board. So you know, just if you give me the track, I'll do that for you. I'll make sure it's everything set. I was like, cool, all right. I trust you. You're a big boy and this, so we're going to trust you. So I give the track to them. They have it in their thing, and then Shaggy goes, well, can we get the stems, which is like all the separate parts, and he want to try and do his own things, because if he has his stamp on it, it might give it a bit more credence. I don't know. So I said, cool. I sent him stems. He did a mix. Maxi listened to the mix. I listened to my mix. He goes, no, I prefer your mix, Bubblers. Then he phoned me up about 2 weeks later. He goes, Bubblers, I love the track so much. I'm going to call the album, your track is the title track of the album. I said, wow. I go, okay. Wow, gee, all right, then cool. So I said, make sure you send the paperwork, you know, Maxi. Make sure they send the paperwork, the contracts and things like that. They sent me a contract, but the contract was a producer's contract, meaning they're commissioning me to produce a tune for Maxi. I said, no, this tune is my tune. What he's supposed to send me a contract, which I'm licensing the tune to you to use for the album.
Makes sense.
You understand? No, then they said, well, we can't do that. I said, but this track is mine. What do you mean you can't do that? It's my track. You haven't paid me no money for it or anything like that. It belongs to me. And as a matter of fact, if you use it, you haven't got permission from me to use it.
Right.
So what it is, they went ahead and then they sent me, then all of a sudden the communication stopped and the album was out. And to this day, it hasn't been sorted out. I'm trying to show people, all your listeners, I'm trying to show you, this is the other side of the business, what people don't talk about, but I'm not keeping my silence. I'm talking about it. I'm making people know. This is like, sometimes the artists, they're great. They are, as artists, they're great. But as business people and that side of it, they can be cutthroat. They holding no prisoners. No matter how much me and Maxi go through as brethren and things like that, when it comes to the business side, if they're gonna cut your throat, they're gonna cut your throat. And that's what the same thing. If they're gonna cut your throat, they're gonna cut your throat.
Yeah. I share that with everyone. I say to a lot of people, even up to very, very recently, when you're doing business in music, there is no friend.
No, there's no friends in business.
Because
you got your brethren and you let them drink together and have a beer and yam some food and go a party. But you see, when it comes to the business, it's a different thing. That's where you see the lions come out.
Yeah.
And when I come for you, they now look at you, I go, oh, I'm sorry for you. Did I scratch you? They go, nyam you.
And what they did, they played on your good nature. That's what
exactly. That's what it is every time. And I'm not saying to blow my own trumpet, but I'm a good-natured person most of the time. And they'll play on that, and that's why I have to learn from myself. And I tell anybody else, don't fall into that trap. When you're doing your bid, if a man wants you to do some production for him, anything like that, make sure you get the paperwork sorted out first. That you got something tangible in writing.
Jesus, I tell you, man. It happened to me more than once.
Don't just do it. I went and did it because we were brethren. I said, boy, yeah, I'm not going to do that. But they went and did that to me, two of them. That's why I fell out with Azrael after a while. It was a while when I was working with them.
Yeah.
And they begged me to come back. They literally begged me to come back.
Oh, boy. So, and I'm glad you're speaking about your truth in real time because
and I'm telling you, ask anyone to talk. Ask them to what I just said now. If any word of what I'm saying is a lie, I don't speak no lies. I tell it as it is.
That way, yeah. I believe it, and I believe because I've been through it myself. I know full hand, full well what goes on.
Yeah.
You know.
But you see, normally I'd keep my mouth shut, but you see, like today, I'm gonna make it public. I want to make people know. These people, your brethren, but when it comes to business, there's no brethren in business.
That's the problem. We don't talk up when these things happen.
Yeah, well, this is what I'm saying. I'm doing that right now. I'm not holding that back.
Yeah, yeah.
Real talk, real talk. No, that's real. It is.
I don't know if I said this last week. I'll give you another short story again. When we went to studio. I don't know if I told you the last week, but John Holt and Dennis Brown called us. Me, Don Campbell, and we were Underground Roots at the time. Me, Don Campbell, Fish Brown, Tony Phillips. 4 of us. Said, why do you want to record some tune? Well, yeah. So that time we were doing enough shows with them and things like that. So we went to studio. We recorded about 5 tunes. And I think Tony's the one who said, boy, you know, we need one more tune. We just need an original, because they were doing pure cover tunes. He said, we need an original tune, you know. We need an original tune. So I went in there, started around with some chords, Fisher, find the bass line, drop. I done, and there was some. We used to do some show. We used to do recordings with Stan Scott from Roots Relics, the drummer from Roots Relics.
Yeah,
he used to come here and do some recordings here. So I used to be the keyboard player, and I think Tony used to play sometimes. We used to work with a guy called Adrian Sherwood. He's known on the punk. On the punk rock side and things like that. He's quite a famous guy, Adrian Sherwood, a white guy.
Yeah.
Nice guy, my good brethren. So Star's got the way of playing where he played drums where you go like a dual. When we do these sessions for Adrian, he do all these dramatic drums, and at the end of it, all you that's what you hear, like you and then the whole band come in. Like it was a thing what he used to do. So I told Donald, said, do that thing what Star Scott used to do. And he got, so if you listen to the front of this tune, you'll hear it in a minute. So he goes, yeah, you got to do that. So we're building this tune. Dennis Brown and John Holt singing off head top. They wrote nothing down. They're just singing a vibe. And that tune was called Wildfire.
Oh. Girl, your love is
right. Now that tune. Now we done a session, and then the session go, yeah. So we're waiting for our money. Why bubblers we have the money? I go, yeah, but you tell us so we have the money. So we come up. Yeah. That time we're going all the way over Easy Street. We live northwest. Easy Street is in Bethnal Green, East London. So we go anyway. We go, yeah. We wait. I know, Stuckhead. I know we're not getting no money for that tune there.
Wow.
No, we don't get no money for that tune. And we didn't get credit for it until about, I think it's 4 years ago when Tony was looking in Google and he said, how we get credit for it. Because if you look on the album, there's an album what they made called Wildfire, which they took that track, went to Jamaica and recorded another 9 tracks. Yeah. And they had Dean Fraser, everybody on it, and everybody got credited who played on it. Yeah. And if you look on the track, the Wildfire, it says it's got Wildfire recorded at Easy Street Studios. That's it. No musicians, no nothing. We got no credit for that. And a lot of people don't know we played that. Don Campbell on drums. Don Campbell said. See him, Don Campbell. Fish Brown on bass. Tony Phillips on guitar. Me on keyboards. And that's a big tune. When you people that talk about big tune, that's a big tune.
Iconic tune.
And when you start the tune, there's a thing and it goes straight in. That's the style I was telling Donald to play. Yeah. We made that up. We made that, and they were singing off their head top. They were singing that tune. Damn. No lyrics, nothing else written down. They were singing off. They two of them in the mic booth, and we're in the musicians area playing, and we just made up the tune on the spot. Up to this day, Stockhead, we haven't been paid for that. I'm not telling people, make people know this.
Tune, that is your tune. You guys, that was the one tune they said they wanted. One more tune, and that's the tune you gave them.
That's one tune, yeah. Tony said, why? We done all these lick over tunes, but you need an original tune, Tony was saying at the time. So, but yeah, we could get together. So me just mess about records. Fisher mess about the bass. Mr. Dollar, when he started, do this, do that. I go, yeah, okay, then cool. And we started one time, one take, that tune was one take.
So let me ask you another question. What stops you from being paid? Did you make up enough noise during the time when?
No, I decided to keep quiet.
after?
But there was a time where I said, I'm not going to keep quiet about this anymore. You know, BBMC
After how
done.
long? After how many years?
All right, it's about 5 years had passed, and I started to talk here on the street. Said, boy, we done the street. We ain't got no paid for it. We ain't got nothing for it or anything like that. I said, John Olds and Dennis Brown, T4, we don't get no money for that. And people can't believe it. Go, John Olds, you can't never. I said, ask them. So I was spreading out on the street. And one time we were in, BBMC up in Wilsden.
Yeah.
The rehearsal place. Right, so they had a studio in there at the time. They rebuilt back the studio since then. They got back the studio in there now. But at the time, they had a studio, 24-track studio in there. And I was in there with that, and there's a whole lot of people in there for some reason. I don't know what it is. And then Dennis Brown walked in with all the Carrolls and them whole bad man friend and things like that. So he sees me, and he comes up to me and goes, Bob, he goes, so what am I going? Everything's cool. He goes, so what all this thing, you walk up and say people say we rob you. I said, well, is it a lie? And the whole them friend them start getting around me. So I go, all right, Dennis, is it a lie I'm telling? Is it a lie I'm telling? And I got loud. I said, Dennis, you robbed me. You robbed me and Buns, man. Let me say it right. If you're going to kill it, you're going to kill me. If you're your man, you're going to kill me right now. Let them hear the truth from me. You robbed me. So if they're going to kill me for you robbing me, then I'll take it. But I'm not. I'm going to make the truth be spoken. You rob me. You and John, you rob me. You take away a tool as little youth, or you know what say we love, and we come do tune for you, and you had no intention of paying us. I know we ain't got paid. That tune's done is what it's supposed to do, and I know we ain't got paid. Then it's more look for me, God, Bob, that's cool, it's cool. Everything all right, man, that's cool. We're going to start or something, we're going to start. It never got sorted out. Unless the studio roll up Carrolls, they all look at me like they want to eat me.
So again, so you're trying to claw what is rightfully yours, right? And what has stopped you from getting paid or for them to even look
the way
into
is they were the associate producers at the time. As far as I know, the tapes ended up in Bunny Lee's hand. Bunny Lee, bless his soul, but you know when it gets in Bunny Lee's hand, you ain't gonna get nothing. You ain't gonna get nothing. And Bunny Lee's the one who ended up putting it out. I remember being in Carnival that same year where we were just minding our business and I'm hearing this tune thumping like, wait, we played that, and the world place was rocking. I said, yeah, this is like about 3 months later. I said, boy, we must get some money out of this tune because this tune rock. Rock the whole carnival that year. No, I know to this day, I haven't seen a penny, not one penny. Got no residuals, no royalties, no nothing, no anything. We didn't even get recognition until about 4 years ago when Tony looked in Google or whatever it is. And somebody put our names down as though we were the actual players.
I'm actually disgusted, man.
Well, I'm trying to show you that I'm making people see the other side of the business. It's a wonderful career. I love my career, don't get me wrong, but there's also the other side of it.
Yeah. Which is one of the reasons, again, I find myself saying is why myself and Sharon is bringing a show together where we can talk about these things, that's going on in the industry that is bringing our industry into disrepute, which is why people are falling away from our music and not really feeling it in its realness, you know what I mean? And really and truly, we need to claw back our power, So we have to talk about these things in real time. And just hearing what you're having to say about what you've been through, which I recognize anyway, I think it'll be great for you to be part of this discussion program, I'll tell you more about it, after the show. But I'm going to let Sharon go into the next section of Go ahead, Sharon.
Yeah, kind of disappointed because, listen, bottom line is you're not holding it back no more. This is
I decided not to. I've decided not to. I'm going to, when I get platforms like this, I'm gonna let it be known. I'm not trying to badmouth them on them or anything like that. I'm just letting people know this side of it. This the side of a lot of people don't talk about.
Right. Right.
Remember all these artists, John Oates, Dennis Brown, as well, they're all on a brethren level, we're brethrens. But you see on the business side of it, Maxi Priest, we're all brethrens. We all grow to each other's pocket. But you see on the business side, there's no taking no prisoners. As nice as you see them are, Dennis Brown is one of the nicest men. And I'm sure in hindsight, he wouldn't do that to me. But whatever you say, there's some influence down the line will make him end up that way there, because he's not known to be like that. But the fact is, we didn't get any penny, we didn't get any money, and he never made no concession to us to get anything at all. That was just left in the dry. That just left to hang up to dry. That was it. That was what it is what it is. And when you talk about tune like Wildfire, you know that's a big tune.
It's a big tune for real.
You're not talking about a man talking about that big tune that you're talking. It's a big tune.
A big tune, yes,
Right.
Proper.
Yeah, it's big. It's really, really big.
And I was made by some dirty stingly English you don't have Bethnal Green. You understand?
As a matter of fact, I think when you speak about maybe the top 10 of Dennis and John Holt's, songs, top 10, right? That will be in the top 10. Definitely in the top 10.
Yeah. Well, you know that this humble man you saw, and my fellow musicians, Don Campbell, Tony Phillips, Fish Brown, we don't get a penny. We play on the tune, we don't get a zinc.
You didn't
We don't get a party. Not even the teacher of the party will give you the party. You don't get nothing.
But you know what, though? Let me say this. Them times, of course, your Dennis Browns, your John Holtz, them was big artists, Let's think about who is in their ear and who is in their pocket. They, the powers that be, and we're going to use them, we're going to say the powers that be because we can't really count on them. But the powers that be supposedly is trying to rise this artist up and do that. They don't care about you, They don't care about you.
You see what I find is that it's almost a tradition from that's carried from Jamaica. It's like a passage of right. You have to get rubbed to feel like you achieve something. Because even from the old days, from the producers, from the old days, from even Drew Creed or Coxon days, there's always artists complaining about being robbed. Always. If you hear bless his soul, Keith Anderson, Bob Andy, he'll tell you about his stories about being robbed forever and ever. Amen.
Yeah,
and he had to fight for his rights to get his songs back because Coxon Dodd used to claim his songs as his publishing, and he had to fight to get that back. It seemed to be almost a tradition from way back when them were there. I don't know what that is. I mean, even Alton, I've got a story with Alton and doing certain things like that as well. Your tune got up on the street, you don't get no money. You come there to do a session. You're not part of the thing. You just come to do a session, and they don't pay you.
Liberty taking. That's what it is.
Yeah, but I'm telling you that a lot of that used to go on. So I found a way to get around that.
I think they actually looked at UK artists and musicians as simpletons, But
I'm saying that it's happening in Jamaica also. Don't get it wrong. Don't get twisted. It's happening in Jamaica also. When I talked to Star Scott and them, it's from Roots Relics in the early days. It used to happen to them as well. But through their roles, them was famous. A man wouldn't mess with their money anymore.
Yeah. But we heard it was worse. It was worse in Jamaica then. It was worse.
Well, they were getting less money.
Right.
Wow.
It's a sin, though. It's just.
But that's how it was. But as you get older, like in my age now, there's certain things that you kind of see. You kind of know it, and you see certain tracks, and you go, "No, I know what's happening there. I can see what the time of day is right now." And you approach the people, go, "This is what's going to happen. I don't care what you're doing. This is what happens. If you want my services, this is what A, B, C, D, E, F, G. This is what happens. If you can't follow that, I bid you a good day.
Right. And that's it. You have to have assurances in place.
Yeah.
You've learned, you've seen, you've learned. And again, as much as you've bred with people and cool, yeah, man, that's cool, you know, but you know what? Let me see this paperwork here, fill that out. That's it. That's the only way you're going to cover yourself. Unfortunately, you can't recoup what's happened before. But you live and you learn and see that they respect you or you don't. And at the end of the day, that's what it is. They either respect you, the individual, or they don't. We just don't do business with them. Unfortunately, it is one of the biggest crimes, and I have to call it a crime because some people got to their grave still with nothing.
The example is like Junior Biles and certain artists like that. They're big tunes, but not enough. They're walking the street like vagrants. They have nothing.
Yeah,
they have nothing. You know, I look at IRI. IRI was one of the biggest influences down at Channel 1 when Channel 1 was going on.
Yeah.
And he had his own catalogue before that from in the 70s.
Yeah.
And he died a pauper. He died a poor man.
It was a pauper. I actually remember when there was a call for us to put money together to try and save him before he died. But unfortunately, he passed before he could receive the help.
That's right.
We have to ask ourselves, how can we be in an industry that is so heartless?
Well, and what I tell people, there's in reggae. Well, so far, I don't know if it will be in my lifetime, but it's so reggae. There's no pension there's actually in the music business in general. There's no pension. If you got a hit tune, you better get somebody to help you set up something for you in the future down the line.
Yeah.
Because there's no guarantee. There's no pension in this business. The pension, what we would normally see, is your publishing.
Yes.
And if somebody takes on your song, or somebody like a youth will take on your song and make your song big, that's your publishing. I mean, that's your pension.
Yeah.
But apart from that, there's really no pension in one and two with the artists. Them I've got some good money out of it, and they were wise with their money. But very few artists had the foresight to see that. Them spend it out and girl it out and drive it out and weed it out or whatever, and them have nothing at the end of the day.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't mean to depress everybody about this. I didn't mean to depress your listeners about that.
I'm
just relaying the facts. There's a good side of this business and there's the bad side. And I'm trying to give balance.
Well, that's what it is at the end of the day. As much as you've done what you've done, it is important for people to know and understand the good, the bad, and the ugly in the business. It is not always pretty. You have some amazing hits, but the real talk is it is not pretty. And I literally call it the good, the bad, and the ugly. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But if you don't talk about it and you're just talking about the glitz and the glam, everybody's just going to want to run into it. With a person of your caliber to speak up on it, it speaks volumes. It's big. People have to understand, yeah, you went through it too. You learned, but you, bubblers, went through it too. That makes you very human. That makes you no better than anybody else. You just do what you do. But what you've done is made assurances for yourself. And that is the lesson at the end of the day, right? You have to have assurances in place that you're not going to get you again. You know what I'm saying?
I'll give you one more story to add to that. I don't mean to dramatize it, but I'll give you another story. There was a period where we were playing for Barrington Levy. That Barrington Levy's track, Here I Come, is a live track. There's no computers involved with that. That's a live band.
Okay.
That's a drummer called Jabani, used to be in Matumbi. A guy called Professor Larry, he's passed away now, he's deceased now, Professor Larry. There's myself on keyboards and a guitarist, same guitarist I tell you about called Stanley Andrews. We played on, that's live done, we done the Here I Come. We got paid for that. Everything was great with that. We did shows, everything like that. After a while, you know, then the computer age came in. There were a lot of computer drummers and all and stuff like that. So I did a track with Barrington Levy called Don't Throw It All Away, which is the original, do you know the original? Don't throw it all away. The original song for that is a pop guy called Gary Benson. Gary Benson came back on the scene and he met up and he joined forces with Barrington Levy to write some songs. He Living Dangerously.
Mm.
You remember Living Dangerously with Bounty Killer?
With Bounty, yeah.
Well, I played on that. I played, but what it is, they took away my my drums and I made Slide play the drums. I think it's Slide play the drums and Robbie play the bass. But all the other instrumentation you hear there is mine. But a lot of people don't know that.
Right.
I was telling Mr. Jaswell the other day, he didn't know that. The Living Dangerously and the backing vocals was done by Blackstones. But that track was done previously, 10 years previously before it was put out with Bounty Killer.
Okay.
So and then there's another track called Dancehall Rock. With Dancehall Rock, Dancehall Rock, you can't watch that. Dancehall Rock, that's my track as well. I built that, and that was CARROL Ranks.
Right.
The DJ on that. Yeah. And the main track now, what I'm going to bring you to now, is a track called To Experience.
To Experience.
Yeah, I built that track. Me, myself, me.
So
they came into the studio. All right, Gary Benson used to team up with a guy called Winston Seller. They're two Jewish guys. They were songwriting partners. They're the one who wrote Maxi Priest's Want to Get Close to You. I just want to get close to you. They're the ones who wrote that.
That's right.
Right. The guy, Winston Seller and Gary Benson, right? Gary Benson, Winston Seller had a house in Southgate. And in the back of his house, he had a big garage at the back. And that's where he built his studio for his songwriting promises. And that's where we recorded. That time, Barrington Levy was working with Winston Seller. They used to meet up at Winston Seller's house with Gary Benson. And then work out certain songs and what they were doing at the time. So Barrington goes, boy, I want to lick over this tune by Babandi.
Yeah.
I go, yeah, what tune is that? He goes, To Experience. I go, yeah, I know To Experience. He goes, yeah, we're going on the road, but we're going to come back. But this is the true boy, so go and build it till we come back. But then they went away for about 3 hours, and then they came back, the tune was finished. Barrington went, what? The tune's on Wicked Night. He went in the booth. One time he voiced it.
Yeah.
That is one time.
That song is iconic as well. I'm going to tell you now, I haven't been paid for either. That tune, I haven't been paid for either. Imagine.
And that's a big tune. I'm talking the story now. That's the producer's called Paul Love, Just Screw. He is a producer for the tune. He paid for the other ones, but that tune I haven't been paid for. To this day, I haven't been paid for that tune. We laid that tune in Southgate in a man's garage.
So let me give you a beating now then. So at the time, where was your mind thoughts? I mean, did you not think about the industry, or was your mind not on the business side of things at that time?
No. I was not on the business side of it. You're a young gun. You just want to get work. You're excited to be in the business, and you're on the cusp of the business. You're working with the cusp artists at the time. Barrington Levy was at the peak of his career. Maxi Priest was at the peak of his career. You're just excited to be there. You're not thinking about the business. Or you want to get paid, or you believe that these artists of this caliber, you must get paid. That's what you're thinking to yourself.
When did you wake up then?
I woke up after all of these episodes. I'm hearing my work on the street where a man is singing on, and he's getting all the glory and everything like that, and I haven't even been paid. I haven't even been paid. I said, what's this all about then? A man doesn't know. If you go to a man on the street, he doesn't know I play. He doesn't know who I am.
Right.
And I'm telling you straight. Listen to me good when I say this. Musicians, most musicians, I'll say this. 95% of musicians are vain people. We like to know what we got out there. People are listening to it.
I'm with you.
We're vain people, and that's just by default. We like to know what people in the dance and drink up them black rum and black and they'll dance to what we created. We're vain like that.
Yeah.
I don't even know if you could call it vain, you know.
No, it's not a fault of that kind of vain, but that's what it is at the end of the day. So Lucifer was a vain character. He's one of God's great musicians.
Yeah.
I'm trying to show you the mind of a musician. We like when people are, when you see artists, when you see Michael Jackson, when you see Prince, we're all vain people. We like people to dance to what we like, the works what we're creating.
Yeah.
I'm trying to show. I'm just want to put it to you straight and raw as it is.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing to be that vain, but it's what we enjoy when we project our art form and people are rocking and dancing to it and enjoying it. We are vain about that.
Yeah, yeah.
If nobody's told you that, let me tell you, I dare you to ask any musician when they think about it, really think about it, and tell me they're not vain about that.
Do me a favor, move your camera to your left a little bit. Your camera.
Oh, is it the sunlight?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the sun is like, it looks like Jesus, I come for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I tell the truth.
Yeah,
the light must come.
Yeah.
You better?
Yeah. You'll have to just move up a bit. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That's it.
I'm glad you're sharing all these because I'm hoping we would learn from our mistakes because we've been doing too much freebies for too long. And at some point, we have to cut the slack and then just do business the right way. And every time that I'm approached by people who are asking me how do they go about whatever it is, I always say, do the business first. Sharon Mango would tell you, I always say, listen, you don't want something to come back and bite you on the ass. I say to everyone, do the business first. And why? Because a lot of my stuff, if I share what I've been through, some of the people I've worked with, they're all dead.
Okay.
But they
a lot of people are working with passed away. A lot of people are working with passed away as well.
What?
A lot
of my works. I haven't even started talking about that. There's something in me that wants to go on a rage, but I say, okay, let me just leave it for now till I figure it all out. You know what I mean? And I'm happy that you're sharing that because one of the reasons why I really want to do this show is because I want people to wake up. I've had icons in my house who were in tears. They heard a certain tune. And you just have to leave them in their moments because what's happened is they've seen this tune go so big. And just from that one tune, they should be living better than they're living today.
Sure.
So I really applaud you for sharing your truth.
Yeah, I'm just telling the truth. I'm not trying to go around and try to bite nobody or belittle anybody. I'm just telling you how it is.
Yeah.
How I want to take it, I'm just saying, well, this is how it is. I'm not trying to belittle nobody. I'm just telling it how it is. There's a good side and there's the bad side. And a lot of times we don't hear the bad side, and I'm letting people know this is how it is sometimes.
Yeah.
For us.
Yeah. Yeah. And
us musicians are always getting the crumbs at the end of the day. We really get the reward at the end of the day. And like you said, a lot of us go to our graves and nobody don't even know what we do. Nobody knows it. Like I was talking with Jazz the other day, and he goes, "Bubblers, we have to make a book or something, or something. We have to tell our story. We have to tell our story."
Yeah.
Because he's got a lot of stories to tell.
Yeah.
And I said, we can't just sit on it like that. We have to make people know. We're not trying to diminish anybody. Just let people know the good and the bad.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've decided to do that. Let people know. Like I said to you, all these men, your ADRIANS, your MAXI Priests, I will consider them my brethren. But when it comes to business, you have to put on your business hat.
Yes.
You have to put that on because when it comes to that, there's no prisoners. Everybody's feeling and sword come out. That's all.
Yes. Yes.
And if you don't know how to combat in that, if you're in that arena, you don't know how to fight and combat there, you're gonna get slaughtered.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to know when to cut your losses. If in business, you turn enemy, then I saw it go. You just have to just chop it there so and left it. Don't be consumed by, oh my God, I've lost a friend, I better go and patch it up. No, you left it there so.
Yeah.
Until you can work it out. And then, things will just happen organically if it's supposed to, And There's so much that you have done. I don't even think, just thinking about it, you know, we can't do this in 2 parts.
No, there isn't. Listen, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, but no, God, with tree, because I'm just thinking it's an educational moment for many here. And the simple fact that you are telling your story, it's you know what I'm saying? A lot of people know who you are, regardless of what happened before, they know who you are, but to hear it from his mouth, at least we have this down now. Modern technologies on Zoom, just like your friend said, why we should do a book. This is a timestamp. This interview was the timestamp to be like, listen, go back and listen to what I'm to say. You know what I'm saying? That's why we do what we do, because we want people to know, okay, this is who Bubblers is, what he's been through. This is something that might even have your friend on the show too, because if you want to tell your story, bring it here. Timestamp it. That's what we're trying to do, giving you your flowers. You know what I'm saying? This is a timestamp. People can always go back. We have to bring them on the show too.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know what I'm saying? You want to write, you can write your book, you know, but we literally see and hear what you're saying. Them can look in your face and say, I no lie, my tell.
No, I have nothing to hide. I have nothing to gain by telling any fibs. I have nothing to gain by that. But in this part of my career right now, I have nothing to gain by telling any things or anything like that. And any of what I just said, if you go to any of the artists and you tell them straight, say Bubba said, oh, this is what Bubba said, look what he said. They can't tell you I'm telling a lie. So the other thing is that they're probably upset that I'm telling the truth. And I come to this point in my life that I'm not upset with telling the truth. The truth is the truth.
The truth is the truth.
Whether you want to be accountable for it is up to you.
Real talk. Let me I want to talk about Sly and Robbie now.
We got coming next week, can't we?
Yes, he's supposed to be coming next week. You worked with Sly and Robbie on, because Simply Red, the group band, I love them. Annie Lennox. We already talked about Maxi Priest and Dennis Bovell. What are the projects that you did with Sly and Robbie on the Simply Red, Annie, and Dennis Bovell?
What I can remember with Dennis Bovell, we worked on an album called an artist called King Cool. King Cool, the real King Cool, is Winston Francis.
Okay.
Yeah, Winston Francis, you know, from Mr. Fix It. That's his kind of aim. That's the name of the project. It's called King Cool, and we worked on that. That's the first project I worked with him in France. That's first. And Dennis Bovell was the producer.
Okay.
I haven't heard the finished product for that, but I heard they put it out, but I don't know. But it's King Cool. His name is the artist. It's got him on the front in a robe and one of those king, like a crown and a scarf.
Okay.
I remember that's the album cover. But that was the Dennis Bovell. Interesting working with them. It's very good. And what we've done, I think I explained it last week, or last time we talked, is there's a character called Erskine Thompson. He was a producer for Maxi Priest. Not a producer, he was the manager for Maxi Priest and for loose ends and stuff like that. But he's a very enigmatic character. But anyway, he booked, I'm sure I said this last time, but he booked our Metropolis Studios. Now, Metropolis Studios has like SSL type desks in there. Like, you got 5 studios. SSL is like one of your top grade studio boards you can buy. They're like, one of those desks costs like 150 to 200,000 pounds.
Yeah.
They're top grade studios, and they got 5 of these desks in the studio in this complex. Erskine Thompson booked out the 5 of those studios, the whole complex. And you had me, Sly and Robbie. I've got this guy, this keyboard player. He's from Africa, and various other top musicians working on all these projects at one time. And part of that project was the Simply Red project, Annie Lennox remixes, and And then the main thing we were working was Suggs from Madness.
Suggs.
Right, Suggs. Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
Suggs
yes.
from Madness. He's got an album called Camden Town. The whole album was flying, Robbie. That was and the actual track. You'll hear my keyboards on there. You hear me, I play my keyboard. I was so proud of that moment when I played on the album. I said, yeah, you know. But yeah, but that's what the main work I done with Sly and Robbie them. And then Monday is a joy, an absolute joy to work with. And I don't say that with many musicians, but then Monday is my ultimate working musicians to work with. Because they make you feel part of the project.
Yeah.
You're not just the keyboard player. They'll ask your opinion, or if you play something here, we might use that, you know. Yeah, that sounds good. You can elaborate upon that. And you elaborate, you go, yeah. They make you feel part of the project. It's not just Sly Robbie and you're the little keyboard player in the corner.
Yeah, yeah.
They invite you into whatever they're producing and you're part of it.
Inclusive.
Yeah, inclusive of it. Your opinion matters, whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
And to me, that to me, you don't know what that means to me. But even at the time, even now, when I think about it, anytime I work with them, they feel inclusive of what they're doing. You know, that there's like, as a musician like me, always growing up and listening to them.
Yeah.
And to be part of what they're doing, and you're included in and they're making you feel included. That's an overwhelming feeling. Overwhelming.
Wow. That's good to hear though, because you know, people like that, true iconic musicians, rest in peace to Robbie, you know, but those gentlemen there, I think they played with everybody, just like you, they played with so many people. Know that they were also very humble musicians. They never thought of themselves as above anybody else. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's right.
Big as they were, they never. And I've always heard that about them. It's just, it's beautiful to hear that you've actually worked with them. Like them guys always made you feel.
Yeah, they're my ultimate. As a musician and a duo and a producing, they're the ultimate to me.
Yeah,
because you know they're very high, or if not the highest, they're one of the highest accolades in our reggae industry. And to work with them, you know, when you hear people say, "Boy, be careful you work with your heroes." I had no problem with working with them. They made me feel welcome. They brought me in and they made me feel part of what they were doing. I felt important.
Yeah.
They made me feel important.
That's beautiful though. That is a beautiful thing to say and hear. Right, 10 Star is just heartfelt.
Yeah, it's one of the great work ethics, you know, one of the great characteristics, you know what I mean, to have, especially when you're working as a team to achieve a particular aim. You know, there's certain qualities you've got to possess in order to pull it off. And it's great when musicians work together and then you listen back and you can feel the love through the music, because you can.
That's what it is. Yeah.
You can feel the love when you listen back to it. It's all in the coming together and how you gel very well. There's something along the way that has been lost in our industry today, which is why things feel like it's falling apart, so to speak.
I'll add to that. In the early days, music was more communal. When I said communal, it's like, all right, a man will call you call a session, and you go, boy, I want a keyboard man, I want a drum man, I want a bass man, and you'll be calling people from the four corners of London or four corners of your town. We don't know each other, but we'll work together on that project. I go, yeah, that's good, and we'll work on another project, and we'll work with other musicians, and so you'll find that you're starting to network with a whole heap of musicians.
Yeah.
So it was more communal. That's what I mean by that. It wasn't like a man in his room with his computer and that's it. So that's how it is nowadays. But back when I was a youngster, it's more communal. So you get to know. Then and the word I use is that cream rises to the top. This is how I got in that realms, because you start to work amongst higher tier musicians, and you find that those higher tier musicians got called all the time.
Right.
Because then, you know, everybody want bubblers, everybody want standing, everybody want drumming from us. Everybody, you're in that upper tier of musicians all the time.
Yeah, top tier.
Yeah, top tier.
Yeah.
And that's by working with a whole heap of different musicians all the time.
Yeah.
And I was always humbled to work with some new guys, because sometimes you don't know what those new guys can offer.
Right.
So that's why it's always communal.
And it's a very good quality to have, especially when you're humble, but you can also be shrewd and stern, you know, especially where the business side is concerned, to treat people fairly, which, you know, since knowing you, you've embodied all that and more. You know what I mean? You're, like I say, when I say, you know, that you come across as UK's favorite producer, UK's favorite musician, especially where our industry is concerned.
Yeah.
You know, you possess certain special qualities, you know what I mean? Which I think we can all learn from, you know? One of the things that I wanted to bring to your notice, because I mean, just reading your bio, there's a wealth of stuff in there. It's like a treasure chest. And then you open up another section, and then we're seeing you work with Adrian Sherwood, who you mentioned before. And
Yeah.
worked with Doug Wimbush and Skip McDonald, who were part of the Sugar Hill Gang.
Sugar Hill Gang, yeah.
Favorites of mine, you know what I mean? And Sinead O'Connor is like, woo.
Yeah.
By the way, let me just mention, I'm a big fan of Sinead O'Connor, especially when she sang back some of the songs of Burning Spear.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, a big fan. But how did you get to work with those guys?
I worked with those guys through Adrian Sherwood, because Adrian Sherwood knows them personally. So he had a couple of albums he was working on, because Adrian has a lot of fusion dub sort of stuff. And he calls Doug Wimbush, which is the bass player. And then he had the drummer. I can't remember what the drummer's name is, but then he had Skip, the guitarist. And I met them. They're originally a funk band, but he'd get them to play sort of an interpretation of reggae, or play funk and dub it up, and then he'd get me to play keyboards on top. But I remember I met Adrian Sherwood through Tony, through Creation Rebel.
Okay.
And we're talking about in the 1980, like 1980, like 1970, about 1980, 81.
Right.
That's how I get to my Adrian Sherwood, and I've had a long, illustrious career with him, work with him, doing with Doug Wimbush and all that, doing the various albums what he'd done, which was quite successful. But Adrian's he's a nice guy. He's an odd white guy, but I really love him. He's really a funny guy. He's a funny guy. Good producer, though. Good producer.
You slipped.
I learned things from those guys as well. It's not really down my avenue, but certain things that he does or techniques I learned from him.
Right.
And he's good. He's really good.
And that's the spice of it, isn't it? When you can learn from each other how each other works and stuff, you know. But yeah,
I've got an album with him. If you got time to research it, it's called Too Bad Card.
Too Bad Corn.
No, Too Bad Card. CARD.
Okay. Too Bad Card.
Yeah, Too Bad Card.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have a look at that.
And that's basically me and Adrian Sherwood.
Right.
And that's like a dub up. So that kind of did politically well for us as well. But we never got to do another album for some reason. I don't know. We never got to do another album. But it had some really outstanding tracks on there. It's good on the underground scene. But if you look it up on YouTube, you'll find it. It's Too Bad Card.
I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out a little bit later and then see if we can dig it up somewhere. But yeah. Okay, so you worked, and then the guy from Sugar Hill, was he associated with Adrian?
Yeah, Sugar Hill. Adrian worked with Sugar Hill was the drummer. Doug Wimbush and Skip McDonald. They were basically Sugar Hill Gang with a couple of other people. For those three guys, they came to England for a spell, and Adrian was working with them exclusively.
Okay.
But that's Adrian's connection to them, and that's how I got to work with them.
Okay, Sugar Hill Gang. Did you actually get to meet, with Sinead O'Connor? Because I too, 10 Star, love her and met her in person, believe it or not. On one of my trips back to London, walking down Labatt Grove. And I was walking with my daughter and she's like, oh my God, she's so beautiful. I said to my mom, do you know that? My mom's like, I don't know who that is. What's the new one? So I'm like, oh my God, Sinead. And she, picked my daughter up. She's like, what's her name? She's the nicest person ever. Did you ever get to meet her personally?
Oh, of course, because I worked on a whole studio album with her.
She's a nice
I'll tell you as well, what they did, she wanted to work in Ireland. So they booked a studio, this lavish studio, beautiful studio. They had a swimming pool, they had tennis courts, and we stayed there for like a week.
Right.
And we recorded about 6 songs there. And it was lovely. They cooked for us and everything is like, it was just out of the way. It's like she insisted that she wanted to just be out of the way of everything. She just wanted to relax. And we went to this studio. It was a beautiful studio, big studio, and the grounds and everything like that. And we were there for about a week. And we recorded. I can't remember the name of the album is though, but if I'll try and find it by next time we'll talk. But it's Adrian Sherwood produced the album with her.
Okay.
And so we was there for about a week, and it was really good stuff. And we were playing with traditional Irish bands, folk bands. It was all mixed up. Everything it wasn't like directly reggae. I was the reggae element, but they were mixed up with reggae with Irish folk stuff, and the whistles and the tambourines, and it's really a fusion kind of stuff, But I kind of just embraced it. It's good.
Yeah. Funny enough, you mentioned that, because even my brother, before he passed away, he learned to play the guitar and he started listening to strange music, And then, and then he got me listening to Queen, he got me listening to Gypsy Kings, he got me listening to, especially bands which play guitar in such a Spanish kind of way where they're strumming away so fluently. I even forget the names, and it made me realize how important it is to really listening to other genres along the way, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep, I agree. If you're a musician, I'll stick my nose out again for this. I say, as a musician, it serves you to listen to other genres, not just your own.
Right.
Then it helps you create something new in your own genre if you want to create something new. But you should always be open to listening.
Right.
That's what I think. That's my opinion. I'm not saying that's law. I'm just saying that's my opinion. You should always be open to listen, and not be judgmental. Just listen to what it is.
Yeah.
Right.
100%. So this is what I want to get into. So Jetstar, you did what? Almost or over 15 albums. But
yeah, there's a lot of albums I did down there. A lot of albums.
What year did you start working with them, by the way?
Oh, geez, Jetstar was. I think they closed down about 15 years ago now. So it was like 10 years before that.
So we're talking about 90s. Would you say 90s? Okay.
Yeah.
Would Trevor T have been the resident producer?
Trevor T was there before I got there. He was there working it before.
Okay.
Because he was the only person there working it, as a matter of fact. But Mr. Palmer, who owned Jetstar,
right, Mr. Palmer.
I think he decided that he needed more producers on hand.
Right.
Because there's a lot to Trevor T to handle by himself.
Even Playboy was one of the producers there too, wasn't he?
Yeah. So it's a lot. Yeah. A lot of stuff he wanted to do, and I think Trevor T was like, he was a young producer.
Yeah.
And he was when I say that, it's like, I'm not taking anything away from him, but the workload what he was set, it was a lot for him. So that's why you have to bring in people like Dwayne from Administrators, myself, Tony Phillips, bringing a lot of other producers to add to the thing. But it works Because it's put a lot of content, a lot of content.
Yeah.
You know, and he brought on Danny Ray. Danny Ray was one of the main.
Danny Ray, Playboy, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I did the album with Donna Marie. I did 2 albums with JC Lodge. We did the album with Don Ricardo.
Don Ricardo.
Okay. Yeah, I've done an album with Gregory Isaacs. We've done lots of stuff down there. We've done a lot of stuff down there. I'm gonna tell you something trivial at the time. This is me just being trivial out my head. At the time, I wanted to trade in my car. I had a nice big sports Vauxhall Amiga. It's a very rare Vauxhall Amiga kind of big cars, but it's a sports one. Yeah, so it's a V6, a very fast one. So I said, boy, this car's a bit too juicy.
Kind of car, right?
Yeah, it's a bit juicy in the petrol. I said, I need to trade it up. So the person who was at the Vauxhall, he went over to Audi.
Yeah.
Then he goes, I was like, I can't afford Audi. Audi's too expensive. He goes, no, man, just come over. Let me see if I can do something for you.
Yeah.
So I went over there. So there's nice Audi, nice blue. I like the color blue. I like sapphire blue. I don't know why. It does something for me. So I go, yeah, this looks nice. He goes, yeah, and he worked out the price. And so I ended up buying the car. And then I put some body kit on it and some nice wheels. And so I said, I'm not gonna bring it down to Jetstar until I finish all this body kit and all this on it. I'm not gonna bring it down there like that until I do that. Right. So I'll be taking the cabs down to Jetstar, waiting for my car to be fixed. Then the day my car I went and picked up my car. I said, wow, done a magnificent job on it. Nice body kit, nice wheels. Everything in the car looked Crips. They looked Crips, man. That's what I said, wow. Yeah, Crips, not Chris, Crips. So I turned up now, Jetstar, and I pulled in the driveway. If you see the heads was looking out the window, the whole building was turning out, who car that? Who that? Then they see me come out the car. And I'm gonna go, whoop. Let's do that, yeah, you know. I said, oh, all right. People run out of the building and everybody come out looking at my car. They go, boy, like this guy have bad, you know. Then Mr. Palmer came down. Because Mr. Palmer had an old Mercedes, but it's like a big Mercedes from a long time.
Right.
And then he came down and he looked at my car. He came in my car and he sat in it. And he goes, Bubblers, I can't have you do. And you know, Mr. Palmer's very quiet spoken.
Very soft, yeah.
Yeah, very soft. He goes, Bubblers, I can't have you upstaging me like this, you know. I can't have you upstaging like this, you know. I have to do something. You make me have to do something, no, Bubblers. I said, Mr. Bubbler, Mr. Palmer, I'm not trying to upstage you. I just thought I bought myself a nice car. That's all. Within a month, stuck here. Within a month, the man go buy a Jaguar, brand new Jaguar, you know.
Oh, wow.
I said, oh my God, this man's taking this thing seriously. I said, and then I crashed my car.
Oh,
the insurance came about the money for the car. So I said, boy, can you find me another car, the same color? They said, no, but if you pay more like a £50 more extra a month, you might as well get yourself a brand new one.
Right.
I bought it 2 years old, that Audi.
Okay.
So I go brand new. I thought about it. I go, you know what? I had disposable income at the time. I said, you know what? I don't think maybe in my life I won't get this opportunity again. Right. You know what? I'm gonna go for it. So I went down to the showroom. I went down there, I chose the color, similar color what I had before.
Right.
And he goes, what do you want? What do you want the leather? I go, you know what? Can I have any leather? He goes, you can have anything you like. You're designing the car. But know that the base price is this, and anything extra you have, which is an Audi, and anything extra you have to pay for. I said, you know what? Go for it. I got it's like a sapphire blue outside, grey leather interior, and a wooden steering wheel, like wooden steering wheel. I went to town.
Damn.
I went to town in the car. When I came out, when I brought that car again to Jetstar, they go, no, Mom, no. Yo, man, Mr. Papa, go buy another car again. Because this one I did it exactly how I wanted it.
Put Palmer under
Mr.
pressure.
Palmer, boy, you're doing it again. You're trying to upstage me. I go, no, Mr. Palmer. I crashed my car. The insurance money came through. They said to me, if I pay the £50 extra, I could get a new one. That's what I'm doing. I'm not trying to upstage you.
Yeah.
I'm joking really good, but it's a nice car, Bob. It's a nice car. It's nice to see musicians doing well for themselves.
Well, that was nice.
Yeah, the whole building used to come down to that car. The whole building. I said, wow. I said, geez, that car, I had it for 3 years, and I got ill. I got sick. And then that's when I went in the hospital for like 3 months. And then it came up to like 3 years where I bought it on a balloon. This is not your business, I'm just telling you. I bought it on a balloon finance. And that means after 3 years, you can either trade up for a new car or you buy the car outright. You have to pay that whole lump sum outright. And I was sick as a parrot. Couldn't move, couldn't walk, couldn't talk. I could talk, but I couldn't walk. And they gave them, and Audi was really good to me. They gave me 6 months grace. So after 6 months, they go, you know, you're going to have to come to the decision, Mr. Ogilvie. Yeah, you're going to have to come to the decision. We need to take the car, or you're going to trade up to the next car, or you can just hand us back the keys. I said, you know what? Come and take the keys. And I watched them drive my car. I said, you know what? I had a good 3 years with it. I had a good 3 years with it. I've got no worries or anything. But the point is that I remember coming out to Jetstar with that. That car was such a commotion. I remember that as, oh man, that was such a commotion that day. All those days when I come down there. Every time I come down there, they go, boy, Bob Laz. I never see I see all these nice, but the way you do this one, they're really nice. Couple custom body kit on it and everything like that. Anyway, that's enough about my story. Anyway.
That was my story though. Like, you know, you work so hard, that's something you wanted for you.
Yeah. I said to myself, I don't know if I'll ever get this opportunity again. So I said, you know, I'm going to go for it. I remember it's for my 40th birthday. I thought that car. I treat myself like that car for my 40th birthday.
See, that's right. Memory. That's a beautiful memory.
Yeah. And once I had that, when I had that car, I drove all over England and it just did what it said on the packet. I got no problems with it. I just went everywhere, all over England in that car. It's beautiful, beautiful. That's one of the perks I had from the business, I should say.
Well,
apart from buying my home and having a nice car, yeah.
Well, that was important. You buy your home. I'm just saying, you had to have gotten something out of it. I mean,
I got my home. I got my home, which I got. I'm mortgage free. Paid my mortgage 5 years ago. Everything. All I do is pay my gas, electric, and my water bill.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful. I mean, at the end of the day, this is the proof in working so hard. You don't even think about yourself and getting nice things. You just do what is necessary, and then here it is. You think about it. You're in your own home. You know, so nobody can run you out. You pay your bills. Right?
Very important.
You pay your bills. And you know what? There's a lot
and Sharon?
Yes, sir.
You sleep good at night time, you see?
See, there your conscience clean too.
You sleep good, you see?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to tuck up myself in my bed, in the fetal position, sleep like a baby. I'll tell anybody that.
Yeah. When your heart is pure and your conscience clean, you can go lay down in your bed, but you know what I'm saying? That's what it is at the end of the day. You can put your head down and sleep at night, you know, worry about, oh, God, I got to do this. Listen, that is what real life is about. That is the true identity of life itself. You do good in life. You can, yes, you go for your trials and your tribulations, but you have your little.
Yeah, but like you say, you go through your trials and tribulation, but that don't mean so you have to be a monster when things turn bad upon you.
Exactly.
So you have to keep your focus.
Precisely my point. That's what it is at the end of the day, and it's just such an honor to hear your stories. I am so happy you spoke your truth, because just like you was talking about Sly and Robbie, that they were such amazing people to work with. A lot of people in the industry that we have spoken to say the same thing about you. You are an honest individual. It's a blessing for all those who've had the opportunity to work with you. It's all good. All good things that they say.
Well, in general, I hear people. I hear people say I'm a bit of a taskmaster, but at the end of the day, the results show when they leave my house and they got their mix in their hand and things like that, and I feel happy, and then I bounce up and down the wall because I'm happy. But sometimes when I go through them, I do put them through the mill because I just want the best.
Right.
I just want the best.
But that's what it is.
They call me a taskmaster sometimes, but yeah, I just want the best.
Yeah.
Listen, a lot of them, right, Ted Star, so many people that we've interviewed, your name has come up. I was like, boy, you know, but we need to get him on, you know, but you are about your business, and that's respect to you. When they're leaving there with a product, bubblers touch it, it's all good. It's gonna fly. You know what I'm saying? That's a blessing, man. Taskmaster, you're about your business. You into perfection. You want to do right by people, so everybody could say the same thing. Yeah, he's wicked. And if I was to do a project again, I'm calling bubblers. That's the only person. Some people's like, that's the only person.
I look at it in general, you know, I like to treat people like I want to be treated.
Exactly.
So if I try to treat you with humility and dignity, and I like to get treated with that in return. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to belittle you or make you feel bad or anything like that. I really believe in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, you know, you've definitely proved that. Again, like I said, everybody has a good word to say about you. So it's truly an honor that you were even here to tell your truth. Because a lot of people would never know the stuff you went through, being the so-called task master that you say that you are. A lot of people will not know what you went through, why you are the way you are. You know what I'm saying? It just makes so much sense. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So it's really important. It's really important. So 10 Star, I think it's coming up to that time, is it? I don't even know what we're gonna do with bubblers, because
I think it's important to mention two names. And
yes,
the first name I want to mention is one of my all-time female favorite. To me, she's like the queen of reggae. Yeah.
Who's that?
Her name is Hortense Ellis. I know you worked with her.
Yes.
Tell me about Hortense, my real true queen.
Hortense is as you know, is Alton's sister.
Yeah, yeah.
And in the early days when at Rough Cut, I want to say this because I'm just telling the truth how it was. Like Hortense, like we had the major bands, you had a major backing band at Rough Cut at the time, which was called Freedom Fighters.
Right.
And that time I had my little band, which was me, Don Campbell, and a drummer called Clive, and a bass player, what we call ourselves Family Band. So when artists come down and say, well, we're not too sure, you know, they used to pass her on to we, because, you know, we were like the second band, you know, we were the next band down.
Right.
So we'd work with her. So we were just glad to work with an artist, and she was glad to work with us. You know, she was cool. You know, I remember doing a song which she used to find. She sung it as a hit tune, but we had to always bring the key down for her because that tune was made her strain. That tune, love comes from the most unexpected places. Anytime in your mind, when she's that note there, she's go, boy, you have to bring the key down for me, now. I can't hit them note there again. So we have to bring the key down for her. But yeah, she was a nice person. She's a nice person.
Right.
Very slim, very, very slim. You know, she's not a endowed woman. She's a very slim woman.
Right.
But nice. She's a nice lady. Nice lady.
And the other person I wanted you to touch on, to me, he was like, you know, one of the greatest vocalists, you know, the UK has ever heard. And his name is Keith Douglas.
Oh, Keith, right.
Keith Douglas, my singer of all time out to the UK.
After he had Cool Down Amina, he done a couple of other projects which I played on. There's sort of track called Try Love Again. and there's another one. I can't remember the other one what we played on. But then he came and after he kind of disappeared for a while. That's what I'm going to say. Then he came around and then we done an album with him at Rough Cut. We didn't actually get to release that till about 3 years ago. I think Tony released it on Rough Cut. But we done the tracks many years back. We did another version of Cool Down Amina and that. But yeah, cool. Yeah, Keith is a good singer. Very, very good singer.
Very.
But yeah, very, very good singer. You know. But he comes and goes. You'll see him for a while and you don't see him again.
Yeah.
You see him and you don't see him again. So you know, but yeah, he kind of blows with the wind.
Yeah, we know why. We're not talking business.
Yeah.
No, I'll talk his business.
Yeah.
It is what it is, but he's a great singer.
It's been a true honor speaking to you today, and I really do applaud you on this journey that you've been through. You've been through a lot, and you still hold your head up with full integrity. You know, to me, you are the real general in this musical battlefield. You know what I mean? And I'm going to hand over to Sharon for her to just round up the show and do what she does best on that front.
Oh, thanks. That's all I'm good at right now. So anyway, Bubbles,
you know you're all that and a bag of chips.
And a cup of tea. And a cup of tea.
And a cup of tea, you know what I'm saying? Because I just had my cup of tea just now. So anyway, look, Bubblers, before I do what I do, understand and know how much you are loved and appreciated. You are truly an amazing individual. You've contributed so much and you've changed many lives. Today you have definitely, you're very transparent, and what you spoke about today will help many people. It's time-stamped. We have it, and we're the only one who have it because you said, I'm not keeping my mouth shut no more. And that is going to open many doors for others. So I want to thank you personally for speaking your truth and for people to know and understand what to look out for. It was true.
I'm gonna say this. This is not my truth. This is the truth, not my truth.
Right.
This is the truth.
The truth.
Yeah, not my truth.
Right.
The
Right.
truth. Yeah. And I say this I'm not trying to molest nobody, or not molest, that's not the right word. I'm not trying to dirty anybody's name. I'm just talking the facts as how it is.
That's what it is.
So people are going to get upset by it, but it's the reality.
Well, you know
and what it is, some people have to be accountable for what they do. And that's what I find, because I'm accountable for whatever I do. And that's why I try to live cleanly amongst anybody. You know, one thing you hear about me, you never hear me teeth or rub nobody or anybody. You don't hear my name with that.
Yeah.
I don't live like that.
That's why you sleep good at night.
That's why I sleep good at night.
Yes, sir.
Before you go, I'm going to tell you quickly. Somebody tried to tarnish my name with that. I'm going to call their name as well. Dennis Rowe from Saxon Sound. Remember that sound?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Everybody knows Saxon Sound. Right. He kept some shows with the Scare Them crew. That time Elephant Man was in there, Pastor Roundhead. I can't remember these are all the dancehall DJs. So we were doing some shows up and down England and that. So I'd be telling him, same thing I'd be telling you about shows. I'm going, listen, make sure you pay what you're supposed to pay on time. And one or two of the shows he's coming up late with the money. And so the last show I think was in London, I think it was in Tottenham somewhere. And then the people, he didn't come up with the money. He goes, I go, no, I told you before. When I leave here, I don't want to have to be chasing you for money. You live all the way over East London. I'm in Northwest London. I'm not chasing you for any money. We're all big people here. I'm providing you with a service. I've said this to you many times before. Make sure our money is there. He didn't come up with the money till about an hour before the stage, before the venue was supposed to lock up. We played for the hour anyway. We done the show. Then he calls me, we're supposed to play for an hour and a half. I said, he goes, well, we want our money back for the half an hour. I go, I ain't gonna give you nothing back. Because you supposed to give the money on time. You're the one who paid the money late. Why should I be giving you? Well, I'm not in business with you. I'm providing a service.
Right.
You take your car to fix a Vauxhall, and you come up with after money. They ain't gonna fix it. They want all their money. Or if they fix it, you ain't gonna get your car. I'm here to provide a service. I provide a service. If you want to pay me late, so you don't get the full time, that's your business. But I told you 2 weeks, 3 weeks in advance, get the money ready. So, and he's walking about telling people, oh, the money's thief, Rough Cutt's thief, the money's thief my money. I said, where did I thief your money? You came out late with the money late for payment. You came out, you didn't get your hour and a half, you got your hour because you were late. If you went over the time, you'd have to pay extra money. That's not my fault, that's your fault.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's insisting and telling people, so, oh, I robbed him, and Rough Cutt robbed him, and things like that. So I said, you can say that, but let people know the facts. That you're supposed to come with the money and you didn't. That's all I'm saying. But you want back half, you want back the hour and a half, half an hour. I said, no, I'm not giving back nothing. When I'm in rehearsals, doing rehearsals, I don't take back the half an hour or anything like that. I've got to do the full rehearsals. I've got to do the full show. Yeah. Whether you want to pay after money or 3/4 money in time, that's up to you. For the venue, that is. He's had to pay for the venue. But what it is, he didn't pay enough money for the venue on time.
Right.
And then he didn't pay us on time. But he's trying to blame us now because he didn't get to do his full one of our show. And that's about the only thing that a person can say to me that, we rob you. And I said, but you didn't rob me. Technically, you robbed yourself.
Yeah.
Technically, you robbed yourself. I didn't rob you. I'm here to perform. And I performed. You didn't pay on time. That's why you didn't get all your full time. And you could have paid the full, we could have paid it about half, but you didn't want to pay the extra half an hour that the venue was asking you for. So whose fault is that?
Right, right.
You know, if they go over that's what they call it, curfew. If the venue has to close by 11, you can go over a half an hour, but you have to pay the extra for that half an hour over at the venue.
Yeah.
You didn't want to pay for that.
Right, that's right.
I mean, but yet you want to pay me late, and you want me to give you an hour's worth of. You want me to give you an hour's worth of money. That's your fault. Why we went on late? Because you didn't pay the money on time. And then I didn't ask you the money on the day. I asked you 2-3 weeks before the time.
Yeah.
And that's the only man I can say who's trying to tarnish my name, and I'm giving you what reason why it doesn't work.
Right.
So, in other words, my record is clean.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't rob nobody. I'm not here to rob anybody. I like to treat people how I like to be treated.
100%.
That's right.
All right.
Sorry about that. I went on a rant there. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. That's okay. So yeah, we are going to round up the show. However, we do give anybody in the audience an opportunity to say or ask Bubblers a question. Anybody in the room who wants to just say a kind word, let know what Bubblers has done for you musically.
You can say a vex word. You can say a vex word.
You can say no, none of that. So yeah, anybody in the audience like to say a kind word or say something or ask a question to Bubblers, please unmute if you may.
Okay.
Or if you're shy, that's okay. Maybe Bubblers has answered all the questions you might have wanted to ask. Who knows?
Okay. So, Bubblers, in 2 minutes, tell me something. Just tell me about this business that you are in 2 minutes. Have you loved what you've been doing, and what have you learnt in 2 minutes?
Right, in 2 minutes, basically, I love what I do. Make no mistake. My whole life and my passion is what I do. I love what I do. All right, let me repeat that. I love what I do. It gives me a reason to wake up in the morning.
Amen to that. Yeah.
I can't say any more than that. Music, reggae music in particular, is giving me a life. It's giving me a purpose. It's giving me a joy. And on top of that is I'm working with Rough Cut. I'm working with like-minded musicians where we're all focused in the same place. So sometimes when we work with certain artists, like one time I remember we was working with Melodians. But what? And we were getting excited. We're going to play that tune. We're going to play this tune. We're going to play "Come On, Little Girl, Come On." We want to see the little boys in us. We want to see the little kids in us.
Yeah,
we're excited, and that gives the passion to what we do. We love what we do. I can say we, but me personally, I love what I do. Without no qualms, but without it, I wouldn't have a life. I'm trying to imagine what I would be doing if I wasn't doing music. I just can't think of anything.
Yeah.
For me, that is. I don't know about anybody else, but for me, I don't know what else I would be doing. It's what I love.
Yeah.
And all the stages I went through, I've loved all of it. I loved as a kid growing up with my dad with him one speaker in the front room and me have my face in the speaker. I look at it. I'm imagining him being in a room with all these musicians. I don't know what I'm imagining as a kid, but you're just from there to where I am now. I've loved it all. Yeah, and I'm still doing it, and I still wake up and switch on my computer and get excited. What we're gonna do today? What we're gonna do today? What vibes we feel like today? I still feel the joy for that.
Yeah,
I can't explain it any more than that.
I think that was well said. That was
Thank you very much.
Well said. Well said.
Thank you very much.
Nutshell, it's the love of the music from you were a kid till now.
Yeah.
Your love for what you wanted to do from the time your dad said, choose something. If you like the music, do it right. And you did.
An old man told me one time, I'm going on a bit again, but an old man told me one time, I'm sure the old man's told these other people, they say, if you can do something, you can do something, you do a job, but if you can do a job that you love and you're getting paid for it, that you've hit the jackpot.
Yeah.
And that's what I've done. I've been doing what I love and I'm getting paid for it. And sometimes handsomely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and what more can you want? You're doing a job, you're doing a passion, what you want, what you love in life. Yeah. And you're getting paid for it.
Yeah.
What more can I say? So a lot of people do jobs and they get well paid, but they don't like their jobs.
Yeah.
They're just doing it. But if you're doing something that you love and you're passionate about it and you love what you're doing, and then you're getting paid.
Yes, sir.
I rest my case.
I'll be mentioning your name to Sly when we speak to him.
Yeah, man, make sure you do. You go, yeah, Bob, like, yeah, wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Bob, man.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
It's going to be on Sunday, so it'd be nice to clock in too. You know what I mean?
He's coming on Sunday.
Sunday, yeah. Next week.
He's coming on Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh, what? You got to let me know that, man. I come in.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Matter of fact, this is his part 2 as well because we had him on. He was like, yeah, I'm coming. We have to come back just like you. There's so much to unpack. So we had to bring him back again.
Oh, geez. He was on before. You need to send me his podcast.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
My Sly, man. I love Sly, man. Love him to death. Love him. He's a great guy. He's great. He's a musician's musician.
Yeah.
Well, Bubblers, we're going to leave it there. And thank you so much for being on our platform to share your story. You're an absolute gem. And, you know, we love you like cooked food.
Thank you very much. Likewise to you, sir.
Yes, sir.
And ma'am.
Yes, sir. You're welcome. Yes.
We're going to end with this tune by Chakademus and Pliers, who we also worked with on the Big Frock Rhythm.
Yes.
Yes. I'm going to end the show just like this.
Okay.
Now this is the original track of the girl, the man can give it to them proper. This is what I said. I'm here to stop and never walk back. Come in, singer. We're I'm rolling on the highway, sailing on to Montego Bay. 10 jobs not working today, just trying to find a nice getaway. So I roll on my window and feel the breeze.
I'm so relaxed, my mind at ease. I'm happy, enjoying every second today. Hey, now I'm on the party, me and my shawty, drinking Bacardi, having fun. I'm on the party, me and my shawty, smoking some Molly, drinking rum. I'm on the party, me and my shawty, drinking Bacardi, having fun. I'm on the party, me and my shawty, smoking some Molly, having fun.
Party time, so we're rolling out. You got the key to the job in your French strong. Drink sitting in the sick, all in the mouth. Smoke trees all right, but we not pass out. Glass of wine, you got it in your waist. One at a time, you make occupy your space. Hot girl, you a leader, but set in the place. Step in the place, you don't have time to waste.
Well, that's all, folks. That's my line. Step aside, babe. Let a star do this. That's all. That's all, folks.
Can I go home now?
I'm 10-star General from Starcade Promotions, and I'm out of here. If you enjoy the content we provide on this YouTube channel, then why not help us by subscribing to SPRB Radio Podcast? Thank you in advance.